This morning's guest is not just in an amazing race, he's also an amazing person. You'll meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at HTC's Carolina Forest Branch location. We're focused on the race across India. And we're visiting with the local attorney, Jay Bultz, one of the participants in the race. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Greg.
How exciting to get a chance to get you in. And of course, we had originally thought we'd talk about mediation and arbitration, but David Harwell talked about it last Friday. So
he's got it covered. Yeah.
I think he got it covered. So that gives us an opportunity to get you in to talk about this tremendous race across India.
Yeah, this is exciting. It's I've always enjoyed getting involved in adventures here and there, and my brothers found out about this opportunity, and it's a road race across the continent of India for 13 days, and the main focus is well, it's a charitable fundraising event.
Right.
And the focus is to raise money for rural Indian villages.
Right.
And each team is assigned a village in India, and one of the things we do is to raise money to provide for that village. And of course, there's a lot of needs of these villages, and including medical issues, educational issues, and that sort of thing. So it's an endurance race. It's going to be tough, and I've read about some of the previous teams and their adventures and misadventures, and we're really going to have to be in good shape for this race.
Now, you're not actually going to have to go over there, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to be racing with my two brothers in an auto rickshaw, which is one of those tiny little three-wheel taxi cabs that they have all over India and Southeast Asia. And it's set up like a motorcycle with a shell over it, and the driver's in front, and it carries two passengers in the back, which would be the three of us.
You'll rotate around, sure.
Yeah, and it's a little 250 cc engine, two-cycle engine, single piston, one spark plug, and you have to carry along tools and spare parts, and get ourselves through the continent of India.
That is amazing.
Over 1,000 miles, about 1,200 miles, we'll be racing across.
Over a 13-day period.
Yeah. So we have a lot to do, and each day they assign us a different challenge. And this is, in the media and broadcast different places around the world, but each day we may be assigned to go to some temple in the jungle and try and solve some riddle, or learn something about one of the the Hindu gods or something, and or to go into the jungles and find something, or go into some caves, and we'll be covering a good part of the continent of India, and so we'll be going through the mountains and through valleys and swamps and rural areas. We'll be starting out.
Sounds like it could be dangerous, Jay.
Oh yeah, there's lots of mishaps that have happened in the previous race and could happen in this race as well, and so we have to be in really good shape in order to, it's an endurance race. It's going to be tough.
And there's only 3 participants on each team.
Right, and there's going to be teams from all around the world. There's a number of teams already from the United States.
Right.
There's several teams. Last year, there was only a few teams from the U.S., but again, there will be a number of teams from the UK, and then a lot of teams seem to come from Hungary. There's a large Indian population in Hungary, so a number of teams will be coming from there, and from Africa and Russia and various other places around the world. And so there's 60 to 100 teams, and it's really exciting.
That is amazing, Jay. Now, did you pull your two brothers in, or did one of them pull you in?
Well, the problem with my two brothers is we're always challenging each other, and nobody will back down.
Yeah, sure.
And so when one of my brothers set this out, they said, we need to do this, and we all said, yeah, sure, we'll do it. Well, none of us has backed down yet, and that's the problem. So we're stuck with doing this now.
You're actually going to have to do it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we got to get our shots and take our medications for, malaria and cholera and hepatitis and all that stuff. And
have you been to India before, Jim?
No.
Never. How about your brothers?
No, I don't think they have. We've all traveled outside the country, but I don't think India is one of the places. And it's going to be very exciting. But, you know, the things that I've always been involved in have been connected with charity.
Right, sure.
You know, you and I have spoken before on this program about Camp Happy Days.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the children with cancer.
We've been there thanks to you. You opened the door for us to film a whole week there with the kids.
And that was a great event. And so I've always been involved in that sort of thing. And so that's what appeals to me about this.
Right.
Because we can make a huge difference for these villages. In fact, we will keep in touch with these villages and stay in communication with them and you know, try and continue to help them with their needs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, India is such a dichotomy of wealth and poverty. With the internet technology and the software companies and everything that has developed over there,
right.
is huge. I mean, they're leading the world in so many respects with software and technology, but those are in isolated cities around the country,
right.
whereas most of the country is in abject poverty. You know, people who don't even have shoes and you know, scrounge around just to get food. So this race brings a lot of attention to the impoverished parts of the country, and
right.
also brings a lot of help and a lot of, you know, wherewithal to these villages that could really use this.
And y'all will be adopting a village, I think you said earlier.
And the focus will be the children of the village, to give them, you know, the medicines they need, the you know, nutrition that they need, and to the educational materials so that they can, you know, hopefully better themselves and get out of the villages and go and you know, get a career, get a good education. So this is the focus of the event, even though it's going to be a great adventure, which appeals to a lot of people, like myself and my brothers. But it's going to be a huge event.
Do your brothers live here in Myrtle Beach, Jay?
No, my younger brother Garl, he's an engineer, does security systems, and he goes over to Russia on a regular basis, setting up security systems for nuclear weapon sites over there with the U.S. government. He lives in Aiken, and my youngest brother is Neil, who is with Advanced Automation. He is an engineer with a robotics company.
Really?
And so, you know, we were thinking about team names, and they both went to Clemson, and I went to Carolina, and so they said, well, we'll call our team Two Tigers and a Chicken or something. But we're still working on a team name. We were thinking about Thunder Bultz, last name Bultz,
good
Thunder
thinking.
Bultz, and then one of them said, well, after several days of eating the Indian food and drink over there, a few days later, we'll have to call ourselves Thunder Butts. But
oh,
you know,
yes, that's right. Good
we have to be very careful about our health situation
what
over
you
there.
eat.
But,
yeah, sure.
But you know, we'll be starting out on the east coast of India in Chennai, which used to be known as Madras. In 1995, India changed all the British named cities over to the original Indian names.
How interesting.
And so we're starting out in Chennai, which most people would know as Madras, and we cross the continent. We go through several mountain ranges and through some valleys.
Right.
And through a number of different cities, stopping along the way, and then we hit the west coast, and then we come up the coast all the way up to Mumbai. And Mumbai used to be known as Bombay.
Is that right?
So we'll finish up in Bombay and stopping in various villages along the way.
How exciting, Jay. I mean, you know, did you ever imagine when you got the call from your brother about this that A, you would take the challenge, and B, you'd actually take it seriously and determine we're going to raise funds for the kids in this village?
Yeah, I did not realize how big this was and how difficult this is going to be.
So you're going to have to take about a month off from work.
A good 3 weeks, yeah. So I've got to, you know, make sure that my business is covered, that everything is covered financially, and so it's going to be a challenge. But on the financial end of things, you know, there are 3 types of sponsorships that we're hoping to get, and one is to sponsor the team itself. Now, we've already got a pretty good headway with each of our respective companies has chipped in a good amount of money, so we've got about 2/3 of the money that we need for sponsoring the team to get us over there, to get the auto rickshaw, to you know, get everything in place and get that set up.
Right.
The next fundraising effort, which is our biggest fundraising effort that we're concentrating on, is to sponsor the village itself, to adopt the village.
Now, have you determined which village it is yet?
We will be assigned a village.
Okay,
and we're waiting on that to be assigned to us. And what happens is They will tell us who the village chief is, the village elders.
Right.
So we will be in touch with them beforehand in connection with a NGO or non-governmental organization that provides relief in that area. So we will be in communication with them to find out specifically what type of relief that they need, what sort of supplies we need to bring. Now, it's difficult to get that here and ship it over there. And so what will happen is we will do the fundraising here, then take those funds over to India.
Sure.
And then we'll spend several days, going to the places that we need to buy the materials and supplies. We'll carry that with us on the trip. Now, obviously, in this little auto rickshaw, we can't carry all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have there, for the whole rally, there are large trucks that kind of follow the whole race along the route. And so our materials will be kept there. And then once we get to our particular village, we will meet with the chief and the NGO representatives, and then we will present the materials there.
How exciting, Jay. This is amazing. And we're getting close now. It's amazing. As you talked about the date, August 5th, and we're 10 weeks away now, it being
That's
May
right.
15th.
August 5th through August 17th is the race, including the beginning and end day. And then we have to be there several days ahead of time to get things prepared, and then a few days afterwards to kind of take care of things in the end.
Well, we want to talk more about that, but if a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, what's the best phone number, and is there a website? What's the best phone number for someone to call to learn more about either sponsoring the team, the village, or even, I think you're going to talk a little bit about sponsoring the rally itself. What's the best phone number?
The best phone number is at my office, Bultz Law Offices, and that's 626-2006.
That's a good number, 626-2006.
Yeah. And I'm working on setting up a personal website that will feature this particular event.
Good.
And that's going to be jboltz.com.
And Bultz is B-O-L-T-S?
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
B-U-L-T-Z.
Oh, there we go.
Like
Good.
Schultz with a B.
I love it. I just want to make sure to get it right for viewers who are hearing that. We want to get it right. B-U-L-T-Z. So jboltz, JAYBULTZ.com will be up sometime in the next few weeks or in the next month or so. That's great.
And it'll have links to the website for this particular rally, which is, if people want to look at it now, it's IndianARC.com. That's Indian Auto Rickshaw Challenge.com. IndianARC.com.
You spell rickshaw. Yeah, have you ever been in a rickshaw, Jay?
No, and this is going to be quite an event. I hope I can fit into one of these things.
Yeah, you're a big guy, Jay. Viewers can't quite take you in. You're a big dude, yeah.
But at any rate, we have to bring our own tools and our own spare parts because I understand these things break down left and right, so we're going to have to learn how to work on small engines and axles and transmissions and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of challenges all the way around. And, we're going to have to bring along ropes and stuff if we get run off the side of a cliff and down into
oh, my Lord, Jay,
some ravine or something, or break down or get washed out in some flood or something. The
Boy Scout background is going to kick in. I love it.
We'll have to take our pocket knife and a bunch of other stuff.
That's right. Real quick, for viewers who may not have met you here in the area locally, are you from the area, Jay?
Yeah, I'm an original native of Myrtle Beach, although I was not born in Myrtle Beach. Back then they didn't have a hospital in Myrtle Beach. But my parents brought me to Myrtle Beach when I was just a babe. And
from Conway?
Actually, I was born in Berkeley, California. My parents were going to college there, and they were graduating college. And then I was born at that time, and then they came to the East Coast. My father looked around for a place to settle and picked Myrtle Beach.
That's amazing. So you've been here virtually your entire life,
yeah,
except for that first couple. And the tenure you spent, you actually attended law school, I believe, down
in New Orleans, yeah.
In New Orleans.
Loyola University in New Orleans. I was actually down there for 7 years. I was down there with a previous career, and then made the change and went to law school there, and then came back home in 1984. So I went to Myrtle Beach High School, and then Carolina and Columbia, University of South Carolina.
Right.
And then down to New Orleans, and then back up here again, where I've been practicing law ever since.
I think so many folks associate you as an attorney, Jay, but you had another life, even, an employed life. You did something else prior to becoming an attorney?
I was a commercial artist and photographer, and I had a studio in New Orleans for a number of years. And a
lot of folks don't know that, yeah.
Yeah, that was another adventure in and of itself.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But at any rate, I've evolved my legal practice into mediation and arbitration, and I do a lot of that. these days. I have cases assigned to me through the court system, plus people come to me privately for those services, mediation and arbitration.
Is that right? Good, yeah. And David Harwell did talk a little bit about
Harwell
that last week.
is very well known for that as well.
Sure.
In fact, I've actually worked with him on cases in the past.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
And he's great. I really enjoy working with him.
We spent an hour with him last week. He aired on Thursday, principally talking about his life, and then on Friday, some of his pet peeves in the legal system and some issues that he wants to see.
He has pet peeves. I think we all do.
He's got some biggies there. That's right.
Yeah.
And Sam Hodges will be with us tomorrow, so we got some things to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, Sam is wonderful. She's going to be so enjoyable to have on the show. I work with her over in family court, and through the guardian ad litem program over there. So
she's in talking about seeking volunteers here in the States. So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. But of course, the big push here, IndianARC.com, and giving you a call at 626-2006. Of course, there's other tremendous groups you've been involved in the past. We talked a little bit about the week that we spent at Camp Happy Days, Jay. The children. Share with viewers real quick if they're not familiar with
Happy Days and Special Times is a program out of Charleston, and it's set up for children with cancer, and also takes care of their families as well. And there are things that go on in that program year-round. The biggest event is the camp that happens in the first week or so of July each year at Camp Bob Cooper on a lake, Lake Marion. And it's an exciting event. It's just huge. And I used to participate as a counselor, as a boat driver, and take the kids for boat rides and tubing and that sort of thing.
This is for children with cancer.
Yes. I lost my leg to cancer when I was younger, and so that's something that appeals to me and that I work with quite a bit. Now, I haven't been a counselor for a while, but I still work with the organization. And they have Christmas parties, Halloween parties. They take people down to Disney World. They have special events where they bring parents who have lost children to cancer. They bring them up to Myrtle Beach for a long weekend to go through counseling and therapy and events together, and they share their experiences. They also have weekends, getaways for parents whose children are in a hospital, because that's so grueling that each parent, round the clock, they have to take care of other children, take care of their lives, and take care of their children in the hospital. And so what they do is they set these events up and provide other babysitters to help with the children, so the parents can get away and share experiences with other parents who are going through the same thing. So those weekends are very big events up here in Myrtle Beach. And then there's other things that go on throughout the year that I try to help with, and you can actually sponsor children going to camp with Camp Happy Days.
Oh yeah, sure. And if a viewer wanted to find out more about that, they could call you as well.
Sure. Contact me again at my law offices, Bultz Law Offices, at 626-2006.
Well, I remember, both anecdotally and directly, as we were down there with the kids and interviewing all the kids, and of course you were there with us that week when we were at Camp Bob Cooper. It was powerful because obviously a lot of the children highlighted the fact that they'd been there even the year before, but a lot of their friends who were there the year before had passed away.
That is one of the toughest things about participating in that is you would get to know children and become friendly with those children. They become friendly with you, and you know them throughout camp and other events, and then next year they don't return to camp, and that is tough. That is really tough. But on the other side of that is the children who are just living life to the fullest and have absolutely no fear of what's going on with them. It seems like the adults are more fearful than they are. And the children just set incredible examples for us. And it's that type of experience that I try to give back. My life. The greatest gift you can give is a portion of yourself. Ralph Waldo Emerson. And so I try to give a portion of myself, which would be the greatest gift that you can give. And so we want to do this with this Indian rally as well. I mean, the focus is the children of India. The primary charity, which you will see on the website, is the New Hope Society for Education and Social Welfare. And it's based out of the Tamil province, I forget the name of the city, in India. But they do a lot of good over there, and that is where all the net proceeds of the rally sponsorships will go. And well, 100% of those proceeds. The team sponsorships, there will be a net of that will go to it. The sponsorships for the villages will go directly to that village. And then the sponsorships for the rally as a whole goes to the New Hope Society.
What are y'all's biggest need now, Jay? We got about 5 minutes, and for you and your brothers, what's the biggest need?
We need financial assistance to help finish sponsoring our team.
Okay, about how much? What are we talking about?
About another $2,000.
Okay.
And then, but the biggest challenge is going to be the sponsorship for the villages. And I understand that teams typically raise $5,000 to $10,000 for each village, and that goes a long way for those villages.
Oh, I bet.
And so that's something that we're working on, and we're going to start, sending out materials and calling on people to help sponsor that.
Right.
As far as our particular team, we're fairly well covered. We need some more for that, but as far as the village, we're just getting started with that. We're gathering up materials. The main administration over in Hungary that sponsors this, puts it together, the organizers, are sending us materials that we can, press kits and stuff that we can take out to the media, to educate people about what's going on, and to know that a local team. My brothers grew up here. I mean, they were born in the local hospitals here.
Right.
We're all from Myrtle Beach, and so we want Myrtle Beach to get behind us to help sponsor the children over in India, in particular a village. And it might end up being one of the coastal villages, so we would have a lot in common with these people who live on the coast the same as we do.
And so often, as you know, early in the week and all week long, we're always thinking about issues in our area. And you mentioned abject poverty, and when we think about poverty in the States, oftentimes it would be even our viewers. There's no such thing as a viewer of, poverty in India. They don't even have shoes, as you talked about.
The
level of abject poverty over there is such a markedly different world.
It is. It really is. And if we can make a difference, and I understand that the first race across India last year made a huge difference, and they're looking to make it even bigger this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Last year was the first.
Yeah. And so this is going to be the second race. Now there's other rallies that they help sponsor around the world, but this particular rally is focused in on the children of India.
Do you have family here in the area, Jay?
I do. My mother's still here. We all grew up here.
Yeah.
And my sister is in Seattle, Washington with her husband.
Right.
I live here, and of course, my two children, Monty and Mark.
Of course, yeah.
And then my brother, one brother, Garl, is in Aiken, and the other brother is in Greenville. And we get together whenever we can.
That's right. We recently had a guest on the show, Mark Mitchell, who's very active at Trinity Presbyterian, I believe it is, down in Surfside, of the Methodist, the church down on Glens Bay Road, who said your mother was one of the founding members.
Right, the Trinity Presbyterian on
Church
Glens Bay Road. Barbara Bultz.
Barbara Bultz. So she has remained very active.
Yeah,
even though you didn't grow up at Trinity.
Well, I grew up in First Pres in Myrtle Beach.
Right, sure.
And then later on became a member of Trinity Episcopal Church, which is where my children have grown up.
Right,
so.
Sure. Hearing your mother hearing Mark talk about your mother's involvement in that church down on Glens Bay Road is
She just about runs the place.
Yeah, it sounds like she and the pastor there, and they've done some great things. They've just built a huge new kids' playground in the back area there, and doing a lot down in that area.
She's always been involved in things, and I think our parents have always gotten us involved in so many activities through church and other social activities that that made an impression on us, and I think that's why we've always been interested in community work and doing that sort of thing.
You talk about that giving back aspect, Jay, whether it's the kids at Camp Happy Days, the kids in the village here, and of course for you, as you said, where the kids at Happy Days are living life to the fullest, much like I think you've shared about when you were going through your tough times with cancer and the ability to really give back to the fullest.
Yeah, I've gone from working locally to working statewide with Happy Days and Special Times and getting involved in other organizations, and now my brothers and I are taking it global. We're heading over to India to see what we can do and make a difference over there, and there's other places in the world that we're probably looking at next. So
listen to that. I love it.
I think I've inspired my daughter. She just got back this past summer from a mission trip to the Dominican Republic.
Good.
And so she was helping villagers over there, and so at some point in time when she and my son get a little older, I want to start taking them on some of these adventures as well, because they're already tuned into that.
Kick your brothers off the rickshaw and Mark and Monty. That's great. Thanks so much for being with us this morning,
Thank you, Greg.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Jay Bultz coming up next. Better get that quote out or I'll forget it. The greatest gift is a portion of thyself. Listen to those key words. You heard them come out of Jay's mouth, even though they were penned by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Take the time to think about that. The greatest gift is a portion of thyself. Simple phone number 626-2006, 626-2006. A great-looking website, Indian ARC, Auto Rickshaw Challenge, IndianARC.com, IndianARC.com. You heard Jay talk about it. It's 3 Myrtle Beach guys getting together, one who lives in Aiken now, one in the Seattle area, I think, and Jay, all heading to India to be together in a little rickshaw, a little 250cc engine there. Think about that experience. These 3 big guys in a little rickshaw racing around for 13 days, racing around India. Why? Abject poverty. Why? Making a difference, giving of thyself. Jay Bultz and his brothers taking the time. Go online. You can sponsor the rally itself. You can sponsor that village, or you can help them with the last couple thousand they need. They've already raised a lot of money, but a couple more to sponsor the team there. Jay and his 2 brothers. Take the time. Pick up the phone, 626-2006, or go online to IndianARC.com.